Hello, people. Welcome to the show. This is your host Pranav, aka Nihilistic Gunner on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in.
And it doesn't matter what people say outside, we know our quality and we believe in ourselves. And this is what we showed today, and we showed what we can do.
So that was Gabriel Martinelli's post-match comment. Loved that line. He has a lot of self-confidence and trust on the team, which is really good to hear. So welcome back to the podcast. So we just defeated Crystal Palace at home. We scored 5 goals. They scored none. We kept a clean sheet, so that went well. That was one morale boosting, confidence boosting victory, as you call it. So, in this episode, I'll give you a quick summary of the game. Things I liked, things I didn't like, positives, concerns, whatever you may call it. And then at the end of the podcast, I will discuss few transfer rumors and the positions we need to strengthen next season, stuff like that. Okay, let's discuss the game first. We were playing after a long time. We were expected to win because Crystal Palace is struggling and there were questions of Roy's future with the club, and we were playing at home, so we were the resounding favorites. So I kind of expected a dominating performance, a great performance from us, so that it can kickstart our comeback. Now, I didn't see a great performance. I would say it was not what I had expected, but it was still okay because Crystal Palace basically didn't allow us to shift gears. They weren't in the game at all. They weren't even in the mood to compete or fight. So that didn't enable us to push forward. But yeah, I'll discuss the positives and negatives. So a quick game summary. We started the game fast, which was good. Atar had always emphasized on starting the games very well, scoring early goals, etc., which helped us a lot last season, right? So it was good to see us uh, go for it right from the kickoff whistle, and especially on games like this, like in early kickoffs where like players are coming after a break. It's tough to get into the zone, but our players got into it right away. We started very well. We were on the front foot right away after the whistle, and we created a couple of chances right from the second minute. Odegaard had a chance. Jesus and Trossard had few off chances. They should have scored, but our first goal came from a corner. Set piece FC, right, as they call it now. So it was a left-hand corner, and surprisingly, Trossard didn't take the corner. Usually, Martinelli is the one who takes those corners, and if Martinelli is unavailable, Trossard takes them. But surprisingly, Rice took it. So it was surprising to me because I wasn't following any Arsenal news or training sessions during the break, so I didn't know if it was planned or something that was practiced in training sessions. Let me know if it was the case. So Rice took the corner. I was initially thinking, why is Rice taking the corner? Because as he is tall and strong, I thought he could be a good presence at the end of things instead of taking a corner. But yeah, to my surprise and everyone's surprise, it was a very good ball, very good deep cross to the far post, and Gabriel, who loves scoring, got into the end of things and finished it. So that became 1-0. An early goal helped us, and then our second goal came from another corner. This time it was Saka's corner. So Gabriel again did the final touch, but then I was so happy to see him. I was so happy to see his name on the score sheet again, but the Premier League had other ideas, and they marked it as a Dean Henderson own goal later, which I don't know about that. My opinion, it should be Gabriel's goal, right? Because it was going in anyways and it was on target. I mean, these people gave goals to strikers and other forwards for like small deflections and other things. Anyways, so that was 2-0. Um, in terms of our defense, like our defense had no issues. There were a couple of instances, but everyone were like spot on with their actions. Raya had a giveaway, but then he made it up with a good save. So that was the only chance that I could think of in terms of them threatening us. But yeah, apart from that, it was a solid off. But there was still like whispers about like not scoring an open play goal. So people weren't like that much happy. They still wanted more from us because we created a lot of chances, but we couldn't convert them in the final third. So I was also craving for more open play goals. And then in the second half, it came thanks to Raya's early deliveries. By the way, I love it when goalkeepers initiate counter attacks or early breaks, quick breaks, right? This was something that was missing when Lino was in charge. Me and many people, my friends, we used to be super critical about Lino not releasing those early balls for counters. So Raya was spot on here. He made a very good throw in to Jesus, who did a wonderful job, burst into the channel and gave a wonderful pass to Trossard. And then Trossard, who didn't have his best game until then, kind of made a cool and composed finish. Helped us get 3-0. After 3-0, it was more like, to be honest, it was a snooze fest after 3-0. We didn't do enough. We weren't ruthless enough to go for more, and they were also not like testing or threatening us like anything. So it was stale until Arteta brought Martinelli and Emil Smith Rowe in. By the way, super happy for Emil Smith Rowe. Yeah, so I don't know what they were thinking. Like their defense was open a lot of times, and they gave a lot of space to Martinelli, who did the final touches to the scoreline. Two similar finishes. One was Nketiah's ball, and another one was a wonderful pass from Jorginho. Two similar finishes from two similar angles. The thing is, even before those two goals, Martinelli had a few good chances and runs. So yeah, they were like they gave up completely, and Martinelli being with those fresh legs caused more damage, and then it finished finally. So this is the summary of the game. So I'd start off with the positives. It was a convincing performance, and most of the players did well. But for me, there were a couple of players who stood out. One was Zinchenko. So the one trait of Zinchenko that I love the most is his confidence, his bravery with the ball, right? Even the thing is, if he has bad games or if he has some bad moments, he doesn't let them get into his head. He doesn't become conservative as a result of that. Like ideally, usually players tend to do that. They tend to play it safe. They tend to do that extra back pass. They tend to like play it safe to escape responsibilities. But Zinchenko is one player who never does that. No matter what kind of shit game he has had in the past, he still demands the ball. He still ventures forward, and he still makes those important actions, right? So he's the player who made the most passes in the game. He also made the most tackles in the game. He was very good in my opinion. In the first half, like all the chances we created in the first half came because of him. Even the first goal, Trossard won the corner, but that was a result of Zinchenko's wonderful switch pass. So he was instrumental in the first half. He created a lot of chances. He switched up plays. He penetrated. He made those runs. So he was very good. That was my first positive, and then the second positive is, of course, seeing Emil Smith Rowe. You would have seen me rant about it in the older episodes because I was skeptical about Arteta not giving enough game time to Emil Smith Rowe, and luckily today we had the comfort to give him more than just 5 minutes. So he came to that left-hand side and looked well. I also read that he did well in the Dubai camp, which is good news for us. So I don't want to see him in any other colors as of now. I want him to fight for his place and get it back because he's super quality. The way he picks the ball and makes those half turns and drives forward, right? That's the kind of contribution we had seen from him in the season, like past season. So he can be a good asset, no matter like what he does, like whether he starts or if whether he comes back from the bench. Like we need a player like him. His quality. I just wish him the very best. I hope he does well. And then the third positive is Martinelli. Now, like you would have seen this pattern. I also tweeted this. Like whenever Martinelli comes off from the bench, his energy, right? His energy levels are super high, and when he comes off the bench and at the 60th or 70th minute, where like the opposition defenders are tired, or like they have tired legs and they are in that like drained out zone, Martinelli just kills them, with his pace, his runs. It's like a mismatch. It feels like watching a mismatch, right? Martinelli with energy in his tank against tired defenders is just pure cinema. That is what he did today. He received those passes. His first touches were good, and he made those two goals. And he finished those two goals superbly, like those Thierry Henry finish. As you all might have known, he wasn't having his most prolific season this year, so these two goals would help his confidence a lot. Yeah, and then the other contributors, right? For the Saka assisted for Gabriel's second goal, which became own goal apparently. So I mean, if a goal becomes an own goal, I don't do they count assists for that? I think FPL gives them as assists, but I don't think it gets added to Saka's tally. But he had an okayish game. Trossard did okayish. He wasn't great, but he was okayish. Jorginho's ball was amazing. Like that's the quality of Jorginho. That's the IQ of Jorginho. That's like a pure register. Rice has to learn to make those lobs, those risky lobs like Jorginho. He has to take a leaf out of Jorginho's book sometimes. That would add a good dimension to his game style. So if he adds that, then he would become 100% complete. Just 100% complete. We can cook any team. So that was the positives. Let me discuss about the negatives or concerns I had while watching the game. My first concern was again the front four efficiency. When I mean front four, it's Jesus, Saka, Odegaard, Trossard this game. So these four people, like, we create good chances, but then for some reason we aren't ruthless in the final third. Like converting these half chances to goals is what makes teams unstoppable. We have to do it somehow, and I just hope that the win and the score line boost the confidence of players and the offensive players, and we improve our efficiency in the future games. The second concern is the mentality, the lack of ruthlessness again. We were 3-0, but then we were comfortable with the scoreline. Like, unless we were so comfortable with the scoreline, we were just passing it around. We didn't want to score more. It felt like that. If you see teams like Man City, like they wouldn't settle for those 3-0s or anything. They would want to score more. Of course, we ended the match as final, but it was a result of a defensive switch off and the later minutes of the game. But the phase between the third goal and 90 plus third minute, like in that phase, we didn't want to punish them more. We have to add a bit of ruthlessness to our style. If we add that, then it would scare teams more. It would scare those teams more, and people would fear coming to Emirates if we add that bit of ruthlessness into our game. So these were my only concerns. Overall, I'm very happy with the performance and the result. I would say I'm not very happy, but okay, it was happy. Not very happy because it's just Crystal Palace at home and it was an expected result. So I just hope that this kickstarts the good winning run, and hope we accumulate more points. Now, let's discuss the positions that we might need to strengthen next season. In case if you all had forgotten, January transfer window is currently active and we aren't close to signing anyone unless we do some surprise signings in the later phase of the window, which I really doubt we would, but we were linked with Benzema. I laughed, man. I laughed at that rumor because we have been like rumored to sign Benzema from for a long time, and it was so funny to see that rumor even in 2024 at the twilight of his career. So yeah, like in terms of positions we want to strengthen or the positions we want to add or next season, I think everyone would be aware of that. The first priority is always gonna be a striker. So we have to wait and see how are we gonna approach this. Whether we are gonna go all in on Wasimhan, which I'm not sure about that. Think teams like Chelsea might sniff and lure him away. We have to see if we are gonna go for a budget-friendly option like Solanke or another Nigerian Boniface who is doing really well at Bayer Leverkusen, or would we go back to Vlahovic again? These are all the options that I can think of. Boniface, Vlahovic, or Solanke, or Tony. Tony one is not happening in January, so but several news media and ITKs are intimating that we'll be going all in on Tony in summer. So I think it's either gonna be. I think so. I think it's either gonna be Tony or Solanke. Boniface, I think an outside chance is there, but at the same time, a lot of people would be in for Boniface, considering the season that they are having. The competition is only gonna increase, and they'll demand a lot of price, I guess. Solanke is a budget option. I don't think we'd get him unless we don't get our desired first choices. So I think we are gonna. I think we are gonna end up with Tony most likely, unless Kroenke's magic hat gives us a Siemens transfer budget. And then for the midfield role, we are being linked with Zubi Mendy, Douglas Luiz, like Douglas Luiz, Amadou Onana from Everton. Personally, I would like Onana if we get him for a cheaper price, let's say 30 million, because he's young, he has a tall and strong build, he also has good passing game, so he would fit in well in my opinion, but we have to wait and see where our priorities lie. In case we are gonna go for a box-to-box profile, I would really like to see Jacob Ramsey. And then of course Saka's backup. Now this is a tricky position, right? Because whoever's gonna come is gonna be a second fiddle to Saka. So I think we'd go for someone who is young, but at the same time, or some utility player of some kind who can play across the front line like Trossard. So I think Ferran Torres is a realistic option. We might go for him. Not sure. Or would we go for someone like Jeremy Frimpong again, who will attract a lot of interest because of the season Bayer Leverkusen are having right now? So we have to wait and see. And in terms of center backs, I'm intrigued to know. I know for a fact that we were interested in Tapsoba in the past. I heard some whispers from few sources that Tapsoba was our initial first choice before we pursued Ben White. So I was also told that we inquired Tapsoba's fee last season. Then it was too high. So I'm intrigued to see whether we would go for him again. There are a couple of other names who are being linked with us. One is Schlotterbeck. I'm not sure about that. We are also being linked with Jorel Hato, a Ajax player. So he's apparently one of Europe's most promising centre backs. He's also left-footed and has only 18 months left on his deal at Ajax. So we have to see if we are going to bring that teenager. But yeah, these were the names that are being linked with us right now. This also makes me question what we are gonna do with Kivior. Because if we are gonna hunt for a left-footed centre back or the left-footer, like I mean, a versatile fullback, then I want to see what we are gonna do with Kivior. Probably he'll get loaned out for a season or two. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's the end of our short and brief paper talk session. These are all just speculations, by the way. I'm not following transfer news or these journalists seriously like how I used to do before. So some of these names are just speculations, or some of them are I just read them out somewhere. So as Arsenal fans, we know the drill, right? We cannot trust a transfer rumor unless it's official on Arsenal.com. Before ending the podcast, I just want to tell a huge thanks to all the people who have tuned in, who have supported me, to all those 22 subscribers, and to all you lovely loyal listeners. I'm so grateful for your support. Keep supporting me. I would continue to make the podcast interesting